A very good morning. I'm Shen. Now I'm going to demonstrate my CSAG system. My supervisor is Miss Hazina. So before the player able to play the game, they need to enter this URL in the browsers. So enter this browser. Okay, so the player will then first direct to the landing page as shown in here. So there's a report a game problem function here, and when the player click on the get start, it will showing the game interface of CSAG. The player can choose to enlarge it or to minimize it. So for the demonstration purpose, I will choose to use the minimize versions. So the player need to register before they can be logged in into the system. Based on the database here, we can see that CSAG testing 1, 2, 3 has been already registered. So what if we put the CSAG testing again in this of the username, and we enter the value of the password and the value of the email address. So we can see that there is an error message from out saying that username already exists. Besides, I also do the validation in the password field. For example, if we created the testing for and we enter the invalid of the password format, and we enter the email address, a valid email address, and you can see that the register email buttons do not pop up and the user are unable to click on it. This is because the password field does not meet the requirements. The requirements state that it must have the minimum 8 of the character, at least one of the uppercase and lowercase, and one number and one special character. So if I changing my password to A capital letter BC 1234 Alliance, so you can see that the button here will become the interactables. So the email, if I choose to enter the email that has been registered, for example, here is lowanshan96@gmail.com. So if I click on the register, you can see that the email address already registered. The error message will be popped up. Okay, so now we create an account using all the valid format. Okay, so you can see that user created successfully, and we go back to our database. You can see that a new of the user is created, and here is the tutorial status is 0, which means that it haven't completed the tutorial yet, and the avatar ID is 1. And now I'm going to log into the system. A capital letter BC1234 Alliance. So I'm going to log in the system, and I click on the, because you can hear the background of the music, so I going to present it, so I going to close the music. So from here, if I click on my profile, you can see that there's a change password function here, and you can see the username and the total score gained by the current user, which is me, the CSAG testing 4, and the total score is 0 because I haven't passed any of the pre-test and the post-test yet. And you can see that there's a 3 of the category, and you can see the progress bar here is 1/3, which means that there is one of the lesson is unlocked. Why is 1/3? Because each of the category, the lesson 1 will be unlocked by default. And if we click on the result to view the result in each of the lesson, we can see that there's a no result found, no result found, and no result found, which is correct because we haven't passed any of the tests yet. So the badges one here is showing 0/3 because we haven't achieved any of the tests yet. So if we click on the change of the password, so it allows the player to change password. From here, I am not going to change the password for now. So I'm going back, and I going to see the leaderboard. So here we're showing the ranking of the current players, which is CSAG testing 4. The ranking is 16, and this one is all the ranking of the user in the leaderboards. And 7777, you can see that most of the player has the same ranking. Why is it so? Because the dance ranking is used, and The dance ranking indicate that all of the players with the same score will have the same ranking. So now I'm going to play the tutorial. So I click on the tutorial. So it will show out what is the task that should be complete in the tutorial in order to update the status. So the first one is a pretest. The pretest is click on the correct answer and read the explanation given. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So if the correct answer is given, so it will show out the green colors. If the wrong answer is given, it will show out the red colors. This is the pretest. So now I have completed the pretest in the tutorial. So now I continue for the lesson game. From here, you can see that it guides the user how to play this of the lesson game. It moves the character using WASD and use the spacebar to jump. And the player should avoid touching the obstacles. For example, if it touch the obstacle here, the player will be die and respawn back to the original place. Or the player need to be avoid jumping into the sea, and if we jumping into the sea, it will respawn back to the nearest checkpoint. So from here, how many days do I ban in the January will be, if I choose a 30, so it will show out the hints, and also the player can click on the queue to close it. So you can see that the green colors, the button in the bottom here will change from the red color to the green color, which is the following is a fruit, and then is a fruit is a fruit is a watermelon. So you click on the queue. So from here, the game element here is to attract the players to play the game. So 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And the player should avoid of these of the obstacles. So once it complete, they're able to click on the next to attend the quiz. Now the post-test quiz that allow the player to click on the correct answer and read the flashcard provided. So you can see that there's no difference in the post-test here, but when you click on the answer, so it will show that the pop-out will not the pop-out that displayed just now in the pretest will not pop out in the post-test. This is because the post-test is not going to show the answer here, but then they're showing the answer in the flashcard. Vegetables is the example of vegetables is. So I view the answer. So just now I put 3 is the correct, and I put the watermelons is the wrong one. So the correct answer is the lettuce. So I have completed my tutorial, and I click home to enter the game menu page. So from here, the database, if we refresh, you can say that our user CSAG testing for has been updated tutorial status. Now I'm going to demonstrate the pretest in the cyberbullying categories. There's 3 categories, which is cyberbullying, oversharing, and safety downloading. For the demonstration purpose, I only show for the cyberbullying categories, and because the process will be very long for each of the categories. So when I click on the cyberbullying, you can see that here is a lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. Like just now I say, the lesson 1 will be unlocked by default, and the pretest, you can see the lesson game and the post-test games is unable to click by the users, and then because it's incomplete, the pretest is incomplete. So I click on the pretest to start the cyberbullying pretest. Inadvertent types. So here we show out all the definitions of the of the question just now. Cyberbullying is so if a correct answer is clicked, so it will display as a green colors. So the score will be 8 by 10. The target filled with victims. One strong and hurt others. Okay. So, which is the form of the cyberbullying under among of this is all above. So the definitions of denigrations. The definitions of the denigration is so it will show that denigration is the action of standing the pose untrue to the player. So you can see that the score will become the 30 and exclusion. So I will just click on the correct answer first and online the feel vengeful. Vengeful of nerds. Okay, vengeful or nerds. Mean girl for entertainment. Impersonation. Action that especially intended the okay, so once it's complete, so it will show the congratulations you has done the pre-test, and click next to continue to the lesson. And from here, if I click the lesson game, so I can see from here my score will be 80 and my ranking will be higher than just now the player just now. It will be here, will be ranking as the 15th. And I go back to my profile and I can see my pre-test result is here, 80. So if I go back here, I click on the cyberbullying, the lesson menu pages, it will show out the green color here. It means that it has been complete, and the lesson here will be allow the player to click on it, which means that the player will then allow to be replay and replay again, even though that has been logged out and coming again. So this is the lesson game. So this one will then show all the descriptions of the student should be learned, and the explanation there. So the question 2 is consider themselves as a Robin Hood. Robin Hood is a vengeful angel. So the player able to use WASD to move forward and backward and use the mouse to control the view. And cyberbully think that they are not the cyberbully means that it's inadvertent. So if a user touch on the obstacle, so it will go back to the nearest checkpoint. The nearest checkpoint is here. So this one is using the storytelling method to give an example that happens, the cyberbullying that happens in daily lifetime. So Lena hates, it will need to celebrate, and it will exclude it. Oh, so you need to go back for it. So purposely leaving one out of the group is excluding. You can see that actually later, if I go back to the lesson game, you can see that the question will not be the same as just now. So the negation is distinct. And actually the problem asking in the lesson game, if you read carefully, it will be displayed in the post-test again it will display again in the post-test, but in the difference method, in the difference describing method. So you can actually see that once I complete one of the checkpoint, the buttons at the bottoms, which will change from the red color to the green colors. So, the subtype of the power swingful wish of the subtype of the power hungry wish is the revenge of nerd. Which of the form of cyberbullying that the Martha experienced from the scenario? Impersonation. So by pretending to be someone else when sending or posting memes is impersonating. So this is all the question we'll be asking. So I will be very fast because I already know the answer. The violence on the cyberspace want to feel the strong and love the kind of Robin Hood. And you can see that actually every time I shoot, oh sorry. So every time I shoot for the wrong answer, it will show you the hints and the tips, and every time I click on the correct answer, it will also show the explanations of the questions. Bullying is a digital and when we reach the destination, the arrow will be comes up and we click on the next. So the lesson status will be updated in the database. So when we click on the exist and we go back to the cyberbullying category, you can see that the green color shows that it has been complete, and the status here is only also lists out the lesson has been complete, and then the post test is incomplete yet, so the lesson 2 will not be unlocked until the player will complete the post test with the score more than 70 marks and above. So actually you can see that Laura watched closely at the Emma logged onto her account. Actually just now there's in the lesson part there's one of the example that say that somebody did not log out when it used the public system, public computers. So here we're using the same scenario but then changing the name. And what type of the cyberbullying happened to Laura is impersonations. So the 10 mark will be given. And Ali is getting bullied online. The online bully others will then get the respect. Just not get the respect, we know that is the vengeful anger. It's not the vengeful anger. Okay. There's a total 9 forms of cyberbullying: farming, degradations. So the 20 marks here. And the form of the cyberbully dissing. Dissing is actually the denigrations. Just now has been shunned and feel hard to recently go out as excluding. So every time the correct answer, this of the monster will be minus his life by 1. Which of the following is the platform that used by the bullying to perform of the deeds of the function? All of the above. And Alex thinks that the Sandra is being cyberbullied by Jenny. Alex tries, you better leave it. So it becomes the vengeful anger. This are the cyberbully always share the people who has the boss, and then is a power hungry, and Sandra is the fool who is ugly. It's a mean girl because it's a entertainment purpose. And Ali want to send the funny video and the motor. I go is inevitable. So when I click on the view, I can know that my marks is 90. I can see that what is the correct answer on it. Ali getting bullied on the online. He is online bully others to get the respect from others. His high identity is a vengeful anger. Revenge of the Nerds is actually someone who being bullied offline, then who want to revenge on it. So this one is the answer that chosen by the players, and this one is the correct answer. So if the player choose for the correct answer, so it will appear as a green colors only. So we click, it will display all the things, and it will show the badges and the lesson here. So you go back to the home, and you can see here the lesson of the button still able to be clicked, and the post test still able to be clicked, although it has been complete, because the player are allowed to replay the post test as many times as they want. So here you can see that the lesson 2 here, the lesson 2 is unlocked, and the pretest is unlocked for the player to play on it.
Let test your knowledge in action taken in cyberbullying.
So the lesson 2 were then talking about the action taken should be taken in the cyberbullying. So what is the first step you should take when the cyberbullying has a minor testing on name testing? Will just ignore it, and then correct answer. So you are adding for the 10 marks. And how will you define the bystander? Bystander is someone looking for it and did not suffer it. So this is all the explanations given. So what is the step you should take to prove that you are being cyberbullied? Documents. The following are the service by the cyberbullying of the which of the service that report the incidents. Incidents is 999. So the unstandard. You can see that the mark will adding by 10 for every of the correct answers. Which of the following activity is considered a crime can be reported? If I choose the wrong answer. So it was saying that the sending of the child pornography will be can report to the law enforcement. Why the most of the do not tell? Because they help the scared scholar. Okay, because they think the situation was getting worse. And in Malaysia, all of these. Okay, so after it completed, so it will show it, congratulations, you have completed the pretest. Click on the next to continue the lesson. So if I go back, you can see that the pretest unable to be clicked again, because the pretest, the main purpose of the pretest is actually as a baseline to know the level of the knowledge before the player play the lesson game. So you can see that actually for the lesson game here is different from the lesson 1. The game mode is different from the lesson 1. However, the mode will be the same. The taking actions by telling the bully to stop, and you remember for this other question, which is the taking actions by telling the bully to stop. This is the first question here. So if we go again and go back again to the lesson, you can see that the question will be changed, because it is a random questions will be generated. This is done by the get random questions in the coding part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for pre-test, post-test, and the lesson, the question is random and there's no repetitions of the questions will be shown. And this will then prevent the students from memorizing all the answers. So which of the following address are taken are unstandard? Upstandard is someone who encouraged to find the help. And so here, from here, I adding additionals of the game element here, which allows the players to shoot on the game object. So if unable to do so, so the player will ban death and respawn to the previous checkpoint. So for the demonstration purpose, I go in for the first. So remove the bully from the blocking. So for the oversharing and safety downloading, the lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3 will be having the same game mode as the cyberbullying category. So I will showing only the cyberbullying categories. Only difference is the question difference. So just now I show it the question 1 is tag action, so it become the question 7 now. What is the first batch response? If it receives a message, making fun. Making fun is just like. So all of these are the questions actually have the reference and the resource, and you can just refer to the appendix C for the sources of the teaching materials. So the player needs to complete all the 15 checkpoints in order to do so. Rumors is created as a cyberbully tag action as a bystander. Bystander erase the reporter. Assisting and reinforce. Oh shit. So bystander is someone we witness, and they respond in 3 ways: outsider, existing, and supporting and defending. So if you really take note on the questions in the lesson game, it will appear again in the post test. So for the witnesses, early witnesses do not take any action at least of that one person wasn't me, and then so is actually existing outsider. So when you reach the destination, so it will pop out to the next button. So it will straight go to the post test. Who do not report when the weakness occur, and a person who supports in the cyberbullying do not report is bystander. So you can see the score will be 10. So now we purposely doing the wrong questions in order for it to fill the questions, to fill the post test. Okay, so when someone sending a message or threatening and so how can you report all above? So there's the passing rate is 70 marks. So now you see the mark is faulty marks. So you can click to view which as the answer is incorrect, and it will show that the score is less than 70 marks. The game over panel will be shown out, and please repeat the lessons. So if you click on the replay button, so it will ask you to replay the post test again. So we go back to the game menu pages. We can see that the lesson is complete but the post test is incomplete, and even though it haven't passed yet, but then you can see there's an updated in the database. You can show the post test here is the time here, the time sent here, and the total score here. Just now I scored 40 marks, so it's 40 and 70 40. So if I go back to the leaderboard, you can see that my score is 280. If I go to my profile, and I can see that my pre-test and the post-test result here for the lesson 2 and the lesson 1. So I go back to complete the post-test. So just now the previous question is not the same as this question, because the random questions will be generated in the pre-test, post-test, and the lessons. So which of the steps should be taken in documenting is all fill in the form and repost the post and screenshot and record the date. This is all things, and you should be all the above. Okay, so what is the time you can call is the children's is 9 to 5. And when cyberbullying happens, what is the best options and then to stop the cyberbullying? Social medias, you can just block the bully. When someone sending a message about the treating a hurt your family, what can you do? And then law enforcement. And the Ali has a 4 eyes, and then he can just ignore it. They're told to be ignored. They think they have been able to handle its own, escape, and not reporting cyberbullying to parents. And a person do not have a response that occur, which is the bystander. So somebody firms it and upstanders. So this one is actually is victim is not their friends. The correct answer. So you can see the new badges will be unlocked, will be given, and the lesson 3 will be unlocked. So if I go back here, you can see that the game menu pages is all is green color now.
Let's test your knowledge and
So
effect
I'm
on
going to do the
cyberbullying.
lesson 3 pretest. Right, as a sign the baby. Okay, so our my question will be focused on in lesson 3 will be focused on the effects of cyberbullying, and what is actually there's the effects on the people who cyberbully or others, or the people being cyberbullied. Witnesses happened. Health, mental health problem will be your friends. Okay, so okay, congratulations, have done the pre-test, so continue to the lessons. From here, you can see the lesson 3 is different from the lesson 1 and lesson 2, but the mode is still the same. So, I'm going to demonstrate the others functions instead of just showing the pre-test, post-test, and the lesson. So we can see here, we can say that the leaderboard the current ranking of me is 6, which is CSAG testing with the total marks of 410, and refer to the leaderboard, and here will show all the score that gained by the players. It will auto updated when there is any changes in here in the C1, C2, and C3 of the tables. So my profile, you can see there's 2 badges here. The badges one is 2/3. So now I'm going to perform the change password functions. So the new password I'm going to change is A smaller letter, B capital letter, C, and 1 2 3 4 alliance. So you can see that actually the format will be the password requirement was same as the password requirement when I register in the registration menu interface pages. So if my password enter is not same as the new password, so it will show out the password is not matches. So I enter the new password, so it's showing the password matches, then only the button will be allow the player to click on it, so the password will change successfully. So other than that, the player, if I click on the oversharing, you can see that all is same as the cyberbullying like just now I show it. And if I click on the quick game, so it will go back to the login pages. If I click on the forget password and I enter the email address just now, so an email will be sent to my email address. So it will send out the email send, please check your email address inbox. So from here you can see that there's a CSAG UTN email that's sent to my lowanshen@gmail.com. And inside that, when I click on the reset password.php, it's able to direct me to the reset password pages. So I enter the new password, I go back to 1234A and ABC 1234 alliance. So it's able to show whether the password is matching or not matching, and password reset successfully. So it will direct the player go back to the landing pages. Actually just now when I request for it, it will be showing a data in the password reset database tables. So the expire for the password reset will be the 15 minutes after the link has been sent to your email address. So when I click on the report again problems, so I adding the Lowanshen 3 here, you can see that only text are allowed, not number is allowed, so that only the texts is allowed. And when I enter the wrong password format like this one, it will show you that your enter is invalid email address, please enter the valid email address. So I enter the valid email address, and the phone number, only the text is allowed. So if I put on the text, so it will show you only the numbers is allowed. So the message is this is testing. So the player able to send a report game problem request to the system administrator, and system administrator will have the email like csagcontact@gmail.com. And once the system administrator receives the problems, and the system administrator can go and check with the software developers whether there's a problem in that. So 2 email will be sent. One will be sent to the requester, one will be sent to the csagcontact@gmail.com. So for the requester as me, so it will receive the message like csag@gmail.com. We appreciate you contacting us regarding your problems. Our professional customer service agent will be get back to you as soon as possible. So for the system administrator, you will receive an email address from the csagutn@gmail.com, which will then send that you have received a new message from the website contact form. Here are the details, the name and the email and the phone and the message. The message, the message the player can be entered is the problem regarding to the games. I think that's all from me. Thank you.